Hello, everybody, and welcome to what we immodestly call the best day of the year on CNBC. It is our stock draft day. I'm Tyler Matheson, gladly joined by Melissa Lee. Welcome back. Good to have you in the house. And we're thrilled to have our teams back in the building with us.
We are seeing a strong sell-off today. We are well off the session lows. The Dow is right now down by 0.8%. The S&P 500 is down by less than 1%. And we see a number of sectors trying to make their comebacks, including information technology, as well as materials and utilities.
But this type of market action, by the way, is exactly what stock pickers kind of look for. A little bit of a blow-off, a retreat in prices, getting some high-value names maybe at a cheaper price than they've been in recent times. That's exactly what we're going to do today. Our participants have done their research, picked their names, and Tim Seymour will be here to help us break down the stocks. Four of our competitors are also in the studio, starting with the defending champion and WWE superstar Charlotte Flair. The WNBA MVP Breanna Stewart is here and getting some stock picking assistance from fast money trader Karen Feinerman. Neve Schulman of MTV's Catfish is here, along with former NFL running back and star Heisman winner Eddie George. And joining us remotely, another great running back, Austin Eckler, now with the Washington Commanders, the team I grew up with. Kenny the Jet Smith from inside the NBA, as well as the mentalist Oz Perlman. There's hot dog eating champ Joey Chestnut. He eats more hot dogs in one sitting than Jillian Michaels has eaten in her entire life. We're excited to have Jillian as part of our draft as well, and a lot of excitement surrounding this next contestant and comedian, Drewski. It's Take Your Kids to Work Day, and we've got many young CNBC fans here, and they love Drewski.
And as we mentioned, with us here on set for the entire show to help us break down the top picks here, Tim Seymour. But Tim, before we can draft, we've got to set the stage here because the markets are having a big down day. Weak GDP, big drop for Meta. So 1-2 punch here for the markets.
Yeah, and a combination of that along with higher rates, which at some point we said are going to be, there's that day when equities respond. I think we are in the middle of the busiest part of earnings season. We have the most important companies in terms of market cap, in terms of the leadership they've meant to this market. And last night, certainly Meta didn't do them solid. And if you think about what we have coming tonight, Microsoft arguably is really the one that I think sets the tone, is kind of that balance across AI, obviously software, and the broader tech space.
Yeah, and Microsoft and Alphabet, which are going to report tonight, they are down, and they are still trying to come off their session lows, but they're still down. And so what do you think we're going to be looking for tonight as we look at those, as they are also on the board for being picked?
Well, it's fascinating how investors are thinking about this sector now. And in a time of rising environments, sometimes mega cap tech is defensive. You're getting decent growth. Certainly in Google's case or Alphabet's case, you're getting it at a reasonable price. I think in the case of Microsoft, this has certainly been one of the front runners in the AI space in terms of those that are really benefiting now. Obviously, Microsoft, in terms of Azure and as goes Azure and the growth side of that business, I think is going to set the tone for tonight.
All right, let's get to the draft, shall we?
Yes.
Before we begin, though, we want to get over to Dom Chu for a quick reminder of how this whole thing works. Dom.
All right, so Melissa, Ty, Tim, the draft will consist of 10 teams picking a total of 2 stocks over 2 different rounds. Now, there are 60 assets on the board. That is 57 stocks alongside 3 interesting plays, commodity-wise. You've got oil, gold, and Bitcoin as well. Maybe you want to take your big tech staples like Meta or Apple or Microsoft. Many of those names very much, again, in play. Now, if AI is your game, we're not talking Allen Iverson, we're talking artificial intelligence. NVIDIA had a huge gain over the past couple of years, but who knows if it's got any more room to run. Or if you want something with a little bit more risk, maybe a recent hot IPO like Reddit. Those shares up, 20% or so, but they've been volatile. Whatever they choose, though, the team will be the best average appreciation, that's their performance, between closing today and the Friday, right before next year's Super Bowl on February 7th, 2025. That contestant will be crowned the 2024 Stock Draft Champion. So, Ty, Melissa, Tim, that's the state of play, the rules of engagement. I'll send things back over to you.
All right, Dom, it is time now to get things started with the there's the sound. Ooh. The first overall pick in the 2024 CNBC stock draft. For that, we go over to Breanna Stewart of the New York Liberty, along with her stock picking partner, Karen Feinerman, fast money trader. Breanna, what do the money machines take with the first pick?
feel like I should have an envelope here. With the first pick, we are selecting Meta. It's an easy choice for us, and when there's a player like Mark Zuckerberg out there, we want to have him on our team.
All right, Karen. Karen, what do you think about Meta's sell-off today? Is that one of the reasons that fed into, I mean, maybe it was a close choice between Meta and something else, and today's sell-off in Meta boosted it to the top pick?
Yeah, so it actually is the reason that we chose it. I was not on our list, but we had to sort of make a game time adjustment because this opportunity presented itself to us. I think that the sell-off is somewhat overdone, considering Mark Zuckerberg's prowess as a CEO, considering the strength of that business. The valuation is not very stretched at all. So we are happy with our first pick, Meta.
All right, that's the first pick. Next up is Eddie George. But, Tim, let's get your reaction to that first pick from Brianna and Karen.
Some game theory by Karen, pointing out that maybe yesterday or the day before, Meta was a name that's outperformed the S&P for very good reason by probably almost 175% over the last year or so. If you think about what we heard last night, this is a company that was, the year of efficiency may be gone. In other words, it's a company that talked about higher costs. They downgraded Q1 and Q2 slightly in terms of the top line. And that adds up to a company that's had an enormous outperformance period in markets. Look, if you'd asked investors a month ago, this is one of the safest picks in the top of the leaderboard. This is a tactical call, I would say, but a great company. Certainly has proven bulletproof over the last couple of years. Fascinating.
All right, with the second pick in our draft here in studio is Eddie George, former running back with the Tennessee Titans, now the head coach at Tennessee State University. Steady Eddie, what is your pick?
My second pick is NVIDIA. I really believe in the management team with Jansen. He's done a phenomenal job. The GPU graphics processing unit is the best on the market. They're in high demand. They're leaders in AI, and I'm believing for the long term. You said you don't know if they have enough steam left, but I think they're in it for the long term.
All right. That was, next up is our defending champ, WWE superstar Charlotte Flair, who rode NVIDIA really to the championship last year. Tim, your thoughts on Eddie's choice?
Look, this could be the gift that keeps on giving. This is certainly the five-tool athlete out there. This is where the growth is coming from at a time when semiconductors have pulled back a little bit. It hasn't been a one-way ticket. There's been a pullback across the entire space. If you think about NVIDIA, there are people arguing that the growth is compensated by a multiple. This company earns $25 to $30 in 25 and 26. It's 30, 35 times earnings. Not that expensive for a company that's growing their revenues 150% year over year if you look at some of the recent quarters. So I think Eddie nailed this one. I think you have no place to not take a company like NVIDIA in this draft. You had a little bit of a pullback. I think there's a high delta.
So the first two picks that have gone off the board here, I assume they do not surprise you one bit.
They don't surprise me, but when I think about this stock draft and the opportunity you have for one calendar year to get an outsized performance, companies that have outperformed and had a great past 12 months sometimes are not your best call. It doesn't mean that we're talking about fundamentals. We're talking about game theory. The two stocks added up to the best overall score for one of our 10 teams is, I think, how you win this. But you're talking about a guy who's retired from the playing field and moved to the booth. And,
yeah, you had several years
maybe because I wasn't so successful
you were part
on the
of this
field.
contest. All right, we're up to our defending champion now. Welcome back, Charlotte Flair. Thank you so much for being with us. First overall pick last year, she did choose NVIDIA, and it helped carry her to victory this time. With the third pick, what does Team Woo select? Welcome back, Charlotte. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. Third pick will be SMCI. AI is still at the forefront of this technological revolution, and SMCI happens to be a major player. So I'm going to go with SMCI.
Anything particular you like about this stock?
Well, they just had a big dip, and their PE is at 50%. NVIDIA was at 31%, and I think that might be something to consider.
All right. Charlotte, thank you very much. We'll hear from you with your second pick in a few moments. Our only other returning contestant this year is the mentalist Oz Perlman. Tim, though, let's get first to you, the pick of Charlotte.
First of all, I would be scared to go against anything Charlotte says for a lot of reasons, including she won it last year. And so I think her point is she's picking a company that has again, a higher beta element of what they do. You've seen a pullback in semis and some of the AI-related plays. And so it's hard to say that a company like this that has crushed it for the last 12 months can't be in the running. Again, I'm a little worried about the higher end, the higher multiple, the growthier part of this leaderboard.
All right, there's the sound. It means it's time for our next pick. For that, we go to Oz Perlman, the mentalist, although he knew that, right? Oz knows. Your pick.
I did.
What is your pick, Oz?
Here we go, gang. Fourth pick for me, I feel like in the stock draft, it's all about if you're not first, you're last. I want big swings. I want an asymmetrical bet. I'm going Bitcoin, everybody.
Deep into Bitcoin. What do you see there, Oz? I know you know the future.
Tyler.
Go ahead.
We'll see, but I see six figures easily. I think it's a play where there's a huge upside. And like I said, I'm not going for second or third. I'm going for first. The year I was with Tim, head-to-head, Bitcoin almost brought me to the lead, but it's all about timing the market, and I think it's a surefire bet. Bitcoin is going to six figures. It's not a matter of if, but when, and I don't want safe plays. So I think that that's the way to go for it, and you want to kind of go for something that has that big upside, and I think that within the commodity space and alternative assets, Bitcoin is that.
Here's another one, Tim. Thanks, Oz, by the way. Here's another one, Tim, that has had a big run-up in the past year.
It's up 51%. First of all, Oz knows to the penny how much money's in my pocket right now. So,
But isn't it ironic that he hasn't won?
Well, you know what? That's a good point. Maybe he needs to show that the game is not rigged in his favor. Bitcoin, digital gold, whatever you want to call it, it's been an environment where Bitcoin, the reasons for owning Bitcoin have added up to success. If you think that the Fed is at least on the other side of their aggressive Fed policy, there's certainly a lot of questions from central banks around the world as they buy more gold. Diversification away from fiat currencies. The reason for being for Bitcoin is certainly every year in this stock draft a reason why this is perennially a top pick.
All right, for our next pick, we're going to go down to my hometown of Washington, D.C., a town where Tim spent a lot of time, where the Commanders' new running back, Austin Eckler, is standing by. Experience is the team name. Austin, welcome to D.C. I hope you can bring the Commanders good luck. You have been a top pick in more fantasy drafts than you probably know, but now it's your turn to choose. What's your pick?
Yes, thanks for having me on, first of all. And I would like to say my first pick is going to be Caterpillar.
Very interesting. Here's a stock, Austin, that stumbled today. I mean, we look at what happened today after the earnings came out. Did it stumble today influence your decision to choose it today?
No, I'm really looking at kind of the landscape of just, the environment of the U.S. right now with, affordable homes and affordable housing really drying up. And it seems like everywhere I go, there's construction on the roads, there's new apartment buildings being built. And so I think where we're at right now in an environment where there's a deficiency in the supply of homes and infrastructure, especially in the housing department, that Caterpillar is going to have a great couple of months here coming up.
Well, you have definitely gone from one place where there's a lot of construction on the roads, Los Angeles, to another, Northern Virginia, where the traffic has gotten about as bad as L.A. I wish you all the best on that. Austin, we'll see you back for pick number 2 in a minute. But, Tim, your thought on Cat?
First of all, the big Cat reported today, if Austin's being tactical, I'll move lower. A lot of that move today is the volumes weren't great. Bears are certainly saying that maybe volume weakness is something that's preceding some of the economic weakness that, frankly, we haven't seen. Improving margins and a valuation that make this still a really attractive stock. But it's a stock that's up 90% over the last calendar year. And it's a stock that also, I think, has had that kind of a run that if we get any slowness in the economy, look, I give Austin credit. He's picking a blue chip company that I think can compete in this environment.
We unfortunately have somehow misplaced or lost Kenny the Jet. So this is a 9-person draft. Time now for the 6th pick in the first round. We go back to the podium for Neve Schulman, host of MTV's Catfish New Season, airing Tuesday, April 30th, less than a week from today. The Market Fish, that's the team name. What do you select, Neve?
I'm very excited to choose Boot Barn for my pick.
Ooh, and why? You like their boots? Or
I'll
what?
tell you why. With climate change, obviously a major factor, inclement weather is on the rise, so we're going to need boots. And companies come and go, trends come and go, but feet and hard work are here to stay.
Simple reasoning. We need boots. We need boots.
They also sell
but
nice
Neve is wearing a very fashionable pair of sneakers over there today. But we'll just let that one pass.
And, maybe he's telling us something.
Maybe he's telling us something.
He's owning it.
Fair weather is coming here. Maybe Neve is. Hey, Tim, your thoughts on boot? How much time have you spent researching boot?
Look, I don't want to get into this, Tyler, because the bottom line is it's been a lot, and it's also clear that there's a lot of people from California moving to Texas, and maybe that's just kidding. I mean, maybe it's not really happening, but I look at discretionary spend. I see a company that's had a very, very big run. Also, a dynamic here where I look at the charts, and I don't love the pick. I look at the growth. I look at the multiple around 18, 19 times, and I think Neve is onto something. He's certainly onto something in terms of where I do think that there is a demographic trend. I think young male teens are into this Carhartt stuff. I could see you in kind of a Carhartt jacket, Tyler.
I'm much more rugged than I appear.
Well, then we'll put you in a pair of boots. But
give me a log splitter.
Interesting call, and clearly a stock that I think could move.
Very interesting.
That's an interesting thing that you went to, Tyler. Log splitters.
Log splitters. That's what I think of. Ruggedness.
All right. Right now, let's get to fitness personality and creator of the fitness app, Jillian Michael. She's getting an assist from her business partner, Giancarlo Cherish. Together, they are the Cash Crew. So, Jillian, what's your pick, please?
Okay. Well, my first question is, I'm kind of late in this whole lineup here. So I'm wondering, I'm texting my business partner because he's not on the screen yet to ask him if any of our picks got stolen. So if we lose, I blame everybody else going ahead of us. With that said, I'm going to let G, my QB here, in to run the play. G, who are we picking?
So you're absolutely right, Jill. A lot of the teams ahead of us had great choices, but we are going to go with an audible here and go with Microsoft based off Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, who I know very well always wins.
All right. Well, there you go.
That's our logic.
It should be interesting because Microsoft reports after the bell today. The stock will be added. So, Giancarlo, are you factoring that in? And you're factoring in the big sell-off in technology across the board that we are seeing?
Absolutely. Not only are we factoring that in, but we also like tech companies that have client-facing products, and Microsoft's had a real stronghold on the market for decades with their Office suite and other products that they have. So we like the lower volatility, perhaps some less upside, but it's a safe bet.
All right. Well, next on the clock is comedian and actor Drewski, but we want to get Tim's thoughts on Jillian and Giancarlo's pick.
I mean, Jillian getting a little salty in there on the competition too. She's kind of already making some. No, I think Microsoft. It's really hard to not feel great about picking Microsoft, Jillian. I'll tell you. And at the end of the day, it's a company. We talked about this. They report tonight. Whether there's some weakness or not. The real question is, what are you paying for Microsoft? At 35 times, this is a company that I think is a tech multiple that is at least in the higher end of its historical 5 to 10-year average. Azure, I think the street's expecting somewhere around 28, 29%. Any type of a beat on that will be a relief. The bar's very high here on this name.
All righty. There's the sound again. Today, of course, is Take Your Kids to Work Day. We got a lot of young people, ladies, gentlemen here, and they are buzzing about our next guest, the social media star Drewski, also a comedian, actor. Check out Drewski in Praise This on Peacock. Drewski, the Four Lifers. It's your turn. You're on the clock. What's your pick?
Man, I'm on the board right now. I'm on the coaching board, so it's pretty easy to tell, brother. It ain't hard to see.
How much Nike drip do you own?
Man, I got to say, my closet's full right now, man. We peaked out. But, I chose Nike because I'm in a couple commercials. Sabrina Ionescu got me as her coach. They gave us all our outfits for my new TV show, Could Have Been House. So, I'm going where it's at. And it's red for a reason because it is not looking good.
So thank you, Drewski. Now, Tim, let's turn to you. We got one more pick in the first round. It's going to come from Joey Chestnut. And if he chooses Hormel, like a hot dog maker, or Oscar Mayer or something like that. We'll get back to that. Right. I'm probably messing up a bunch of endorsements that he has. But at any rate, Nike, this is a stock that has come down a lot since the fourth quarter of last year.
Yeah, I mean, Drewski is just doing it here. There's no question that this is a name that I think is interesting. Nike well off of its highs. Yep. The critics will point out, especially critics playing the stock draft game, is is this has been kind of dead money in a trading range for the last couple of years. When you listen to the company,
you're making Drewski very
Drewski,
upset.
what do you got? Come on,
Drewski's upset.
let's let him back in.
Drewski,
What's on your mind?
I don't have a stock coach, man. I came in here by my lonesome.
Okay, well, look, and my guess is you've got enough pairs of sleds in your closet to help same-store sales coming for the next year or two. So, I like the call. World-class, best-in-class company, trading near the bottom of a range, and a company that I think also is known for innovation. It's time, Drewski.
All right. Our next guest is the greatest eater of all time. You see him every July 4th devouring 70 or maybe more hot dogs. Joey Chestnut. Joey Jaws is his team name with the last pick in the first round. What is your pick, Joey?
Ooh, yeah. Looking at this board, I'm picking Oracle.
Why is that?
Well, you know, they just announced they're going to be moving to Nashville. I'm a big believer in Larry Ellison, and it's just their software. Everything is still what they produce is really important for everybody. The software, and I think they're getting more in healthcare, and so it's really important.
All right. Joey picks Oracle. Tim, what do you think of Oracle?
Not a surprise. Look, Larry Ellison has been gobbling up companies for a long time. And if you think about them, this is what we all do here. And I just say that it's a company that in terms of their software revenue and the higher margin part of their business, the annuity part of their business, this is why the street has been willing to pay a higher multiple on the stock. It's traded in a range. It's near, it's probably 10 to 15, 18% off the top of that. Interesting pick and absolutely a name that has the delta to be in.
Are they an AI pick in a way, or are they an also ran in AI?
I don't think we know. I think it's again hard to count out when you look where they've made their investments. I am sure on the software side and in terms of the platforms that are going to be in the periphery to support, there's no question they're probably going to be there.